Hey, getting a new roof can be expensive, but if I can tell you about an alternative that can make it almost like new, hey, listen in here. We've got an expert to talk about it. Stay tuned. Welcome everyone to the Your Little Castle Show. Again, highlighting those leaders in our community who are making a difference to impact our community, especially when you start talking about people's homes. There's often very much at concern there. You want to find the experts who can really make sure that your home is livable, that you can live safely, that you're not going to get rained on in your house. And boy, we talk about some storms that come through here in our region in the Midwest here, and there's just a lot of damage that happens. But so often roofs just wear out, right?
That's
We
correct.
talked about the granules that are on your roof, and we've all touched those, felt them, feel like little pieces of sand or a little bit bigger than sand, but they're granules. And as they wear off, a lot of people might recommend get a new roof, but until there's an alternative. And so we've got our expert in building here, Jason McKinnon. He's the owner dealer here for the local RoofMaxx. It covers the St. Louis area and is helping us understand that. Now, if you missed our first half hour, it'll air at some point on ABC. If you missed it, that's all right. You can watch it on our YouTube channel. But our second half hour, we're going to get into a little more of the depth of this and how it works and what's going on here. So with that, welcome back to our studio, Mr. Jason McKinnon. All right, let's get into this a little bit. We finished up with one of the biggest mistakes people make, and that is a lot of times this can be repaired as long as the roof isn't beyond repair, right?
Correct.
And so you're saying the biggest mistake people make is they wait too long. And why is that so much the case?
Just never heard of the product before, and that's our job to go out and educate the people, and that's one of the reasons I'm here, so I can get more people to educate regarding our products. Because I mean, at some point you will need a new roof, but the thing is, a lot of people can't afford it right now, so that's where our job comes in, to come out and help the people in the community.
Yeah, make sure that they understand what they're going to. And that's what I'm talking about. With regard to this, people wait too long, and then it gets to where once the oils are gone, how long do they have before they've got to replace it, and it's too late for them to use your service?
Until it leaks.
Right. Okay.
And that's where we come in as well. Before we do our tune-up, we look at all of that, and we can help them out with that.
Yeah, and I didn't think about it, but it's like we talked about in the first show. Again, if you missed that first show, check that out. But the oils evaporate, dissipate, go away over time, and because of the weather and the storms and the heat, St. Louis is known. If you don't like the weather in St. Louis, wait a few minutes; it'll change. But you get 110 degrees in the middle of summer, and you get negative 15 during the winter. So that's a wide range, and it can cause that wear and tear on your roof. But these granules, as they become loose and then fall off, that deteriorates the quality, and then the oils go away. The oils disappear because the granules aren't there. Is that what's causing
That's
the
correct.
problem? Okay.
Just over time, I mean, with your oils, is like you were just saying, because of the weather, and that's the cold, the heat, the shingles contract. You got cold, and then you got hot, so it's moving all the time, and that's what gets the oils out of the shingle, and that's where your granules fall off, and that's where we come in to put the oils back in to hold the granules. But if you wait too long, you will need a new roof.
Okay, so don't wait too long. Get this done, and make sure, because you can save yourself a lot of expense. And unless you've got an insurance company to cover it, then there's going to have to be justification for that. And that's something you don't mess with anyway. If there's hail damage and things are torn and shredded, you're not there to fix that. But you're here to make sure that granule loss and make it look like a roof that just wasn't maintained can look like new.
That's correct.
Okay, I like it. You do residential and commercial, and you talked a little about the difference there, but up to 90% you mentioned in the first show savings, or explain the difference between residential and
Well, residential and commercial, I mean, commercial's a lot bigger. So
Gotcha.
Cost savings, will save you about 90%. Okay. So, it just depends on the size of the roof. So I can't tell you how much it's going to cost until I, get, the measurements and everything like that.
Right.
But with the with the commercial, it's a maintenance. So it's a tax write-off for the property owner.
Okay. Yeah, and there's a big difference in the way those are handled with regard commercial versus individual homeowner. What percentage would you say is residential versus what percentage you do as
We've done a
commercial?
lot of residential. We haven't got into the commercial side yet.
Okay, so your focus is on residential, and that's where the big need is too, and there's a lot of
Correct. A lot of the landlords and stuff we would deal with. I mean, I don't think they've learned a lot about it, but it can save them a lot of money regarding, if they got to replace the roof, and then I got to replace doors, toilets, everything in there.
Yeah.
If we can help them for 5, 10 years to save money on that roof so they can replace all that, then we can do that.
It's a business they're running there, and we've been through this process myself too, and revitalizing a couple homes. And there's all kinds of, you get into electrical and plumbing. Boy, the last thing you need is now a $15,000 roof, but if you can get it done for 20% of that cost,
Right.
that'll really help save a lot of money to get these things done right, and help to stay on track so that you're not spending more money than you should. And we're all looking for ways to be cost effective. What do you like about the St. Louis area, the St. Louis market? You and I both got some friends, Dr. Chris.
Yes.
Baseball, a lot goes on here. You've got somebody who's fighting to make it into the big leagues and doing well. But what do you like about the St. Louis community itself?
St. Louis community, I grew up in Collinsville, Illinois, so people like, where are you from? I say St. Louis, because if you go anywhere outside the St. Louis area and you say Collinsville, Illinois, they're like Chicago. No, we're in St. Louis.
Sure, yeah. I think they're best known for the giant ketchup bottle. Is that one of them?
Yes, that is
Collinsville?
that is
But
correct.
it's just right over the river there, and just in St. Louis is nice because in St. Louis you can get just about anywhere in 20, 30, 35, 40 minutes from one end to the other, and that's the service area you have. And where do you get most of your work from? Is it over in Illinois or St. Louis?
A mixture of both.
Okay.
I mean, with most of our business, in the first year has been on the Missouri side.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so you're servicing out to Eureka, down south Festus, Fenton, up north.
our farthest out was in Farmington,
Okay.
Deloge down that way,
Okay.
Festus,
Right.
and then we do have a dealer down in Cape Girardeau, so we kind of meet there on along 55 there.
Okay. Yeah. So then you're servicing, and you guys have, you say 600 locations across the country?
Yeah, 300 dealers over 600 different cities.
600 different cities. Okay. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys obviously have a great product that can make an impact, and when you've grown to that level, obviously there's a lot of need for what you're doing, and it can save people quite a bit of money and hassle. And truth be told, as you said earlier, when people are struggling with a roof and it's to the point where it's beyond repair, then you'll recommend a roofing expert
That is
to
correct.
replace the roof too, and make sure that they're getting taken care of on both sides of that. Tell me a time though when, obviously you've done this quite a bit already, a time when you really helped somebody, you could tell they were in a tough situation, they weren't going to necessarily be able to get a new roof or afford a new roof, and you said, that's all right, we're going to show you how to get and give me a little bit about the details, without naming names. But
Well, I have two, and that was in the last month. The one couple, they've had their roof's been leaking for 2 years, and with my background being in the roofing business, we did a little extra. It wasn't just spraying and doing tune-up. They had a flat roof up there, up top, so we did a lot of caulking, plastic cement, and sprayed the roof, and that was, I think, on a Thursday, and we got rain over the weekend, and I got a text on a Sunday night regarding saying thank you for fixing my leaks.
yeah,
So that hit pretty good, because even my girlfriend was sitting there, and I'm like, look at the text I just got. I kind of warm inside, because like I said before, I love helping people. So in the same way regarding another flat roof, and then the roof resprayed, we fixed a lot of leaks. This lady's, I think it was about a year, and first time going up on her roof, because she said when it rains, it flows in here. And like I said before,
Wow.
I take pictures before, during, and after. So these pictures I take, I come down and I show the homeowner, and they're like, whoa. And I can tell where the water was coming in. So we did all that in the same way. After the rain, she called and she was much appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, you're impacting people here. They got water rushing into their house. That's a very stressful event. You may not have a house to sleep in much longer if you don't get it.
Right.
You get mold setting in and all kinds of other problems that can happen because you're not properly maintained. Water can be very damaging. and it caused a lot of problems. What's a hurdle you've overcome business-wise that you were like, wow, I didn't realize that was going to happen, but we learned from it and made us stronger? But as a business owner, there's all kinds of hurdles you take on in running a business.
Really, I'm trying to think here. Just learning the different things about the residential side. Because before I was on the commercial side in the roofing business for 13 years. In the last year and a half, 2 years, that's why I've learned a lot about the shingle side.
Sure.
And so what to do on the shingles and everything, how to replace them.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't know that before. So because like I said before, if you have some shingles that are missing, we will put new shingles down.
Yeah, that's good to know that you can help them just to maintain the roof there and get some basic repairs done too. But
Yes.
yeah, with the background, imagine, was it exciting for you to learn what RoofMaxx really offers versus what else is out there? Because a lot of people aren't familiar with this, so you got something new to learn.
Correct. And I mean, it was a lot of learning. I was very comfortable where I was at, and I wanted to jump out of my comfort zone, and that's where we learned all this. And I just love to talk to people, and they have a second choice besides replacing the roof if need be.
And how often are you helping people understand the process? Because it is obviously something a little bit different, but they're going, wait a minute, you're going to spray on my roof? What are the questions that people usually have for you?
Does the stuff work? What does it do? Will it kill my plants?
Okay.
Will it stain furniture? So the process is what we tell people. It's about a 2-3 hour process. So we get there. I look at the surroundings outside the home, all the furniture we would hose down, your plants we would hose down, and that was about it. And then we do our process of the tune up and then to the spray. And then after we're done, if there's flowers and if we do get overspray on it, we'll come down, hose everything off. But it's not going to kill anything, flowers, pets, adults, anything like that.
Right.
But it will stain if you don't hose it off. So
It's a natural compound too.
Yes, it's 100% natural, oil-based, plant-based.
Okay. Yeah, so something that can be if you just get the hose out.
Yes, correct.
Keep it, but and you have to do this, I guess, when it's applied. You apply it when it's nice and sunny. You can't apply this when the rain's coming.
And you can spray regarding, I would say, a couple hours. So if we spray in the morning and it rains that evening, it's fine.
Okay. So because it dries and sets it within a few hours.
Yes, but after doing the roofing for so long, I look at the weather every morning.
Yeah, the weather guy becomes a good friend of the roofing guys, and make sure that a lot of things are online, because how often is it the case? And if it's pouring down rain or snow, those are times when you can't do it. Your busy season, when is your busy season? Is it picking up right now?
Our busy season from March till probably the end of November.
Okay.
But if there is warm days in the winter, we do spray, because we sprayed 2 in February when it was 70 degrees.
Right. Okay.
Actually, we sprayed a roof 2 days before Christmas and 1 after Christmas, because we had warm Christmas this year.
Yeah, we did.
So
okay.
it's what we recommend, as long as it's above 40 and climbing, we can spray.
Okay. Yeah, you get to that freezing point.
Freezing point, I shut down.
Can't be doing that.
Yes.
Spray anything of any substance. If there's anything relative to, was it water based? Is there a little?
It is with ours. It's a mixture. It's 101. So there's a water base. So if it's below freezing, it's going to freeze.
Yeah. No spraying while it freezes, everybody.
Nope.
Take note of that one. But they're experts here and they know what they're doing, and do help make sure that this is applied properly. With that, some more fun. This will tie into what we're doing here. We got some friends who have obviously. Jason has a friend down in. Was down in spring training a couple times here with the big league team. This is a different team. We won't say who, but you can check that out if you want to. It's kind of well known. His high school's proud of him. But we were down with the Cardinals, so check that out. We have more fun partaking in the activities with the community. All right, we've got Matt, Scarlett, Aaron, and Violet all here. Did I get them right?
That's right.
They're the Reeves family.
That's right.
Hey, my buddy Brian Reeves. Where you at, man? Brian played some baseball. Supposed to be related somehow.
Yeah.
Matt, tell me, what do you like to hear about the spring training?
Peak baseball experience. If you love baseball, spring training's the place to be.
Yeah.
There it is. What about you?
I just love to take me out to the ball game song.
Oh, yeah.
Take me out to the ball.
And we
Scarlet,
get
huh?
the ball sign.
Oh,
We got
Scarlet.
Newt.
Yeah, new bar this year. Thank
There
you.
you go.
Thank
So
you, Lars.
Newt's here. All right.
Just
Aaron, what do
I
you?
like that it's more intimate and you can be closer to the field and the players are all excited.
Yeah, I like that.
The
Violet.
weather's also really nice, and I like how nobody's ever stressed because it's just spring training.
That's right. We were losing today, but go ahead. But we had fun anyway. Right?
We still had fun.
We did.
All right, you guys. Well, how many times have you been down to spring training?
This is number 2. This is number 2 for us. Hopefully, second of many.
There we go.
Yeah. How about you?
Annual. This is like my 4th time down here,
Nice.
3rd in a row. We did once back in the day. Brought Dad down here. Dad's up in baseball heaven now, and we come down every year.
bless him.
But yeah, baseball gave us.
St. Louis?
I'm a St. Louis. I'm the Cardinal Cowboy in St. Louis.
You are? Do you still live there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Have you seen me running around there?
Yes.
Okay. There
Just
we go.
making sure you're still there.
That's me. That's right. Still St. Louis. All right, everybody. On the count of 3, let's go Cardinals.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Let's go Cardinals!
Giddy up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. By now, we are on ABC 5 times a week. So many businesses are loving what we're doing to help them get their name out there. We'll sit right here in our guest chair, right here, sitting here talking to us. We're going to put on the wall your website and everything about you and highlight you as a leader. Fill out the form you see here on our website. It's bigleagues.com. And if you go to bigleagues.com, fill out this form. Takes just a couple seconds, and you can even schedule yourself right here. Schedule yourself to be on the show, and there's no charge for us to record you. There's no charge to be in the studio. Check it out if you would like to be on. Fill out the form again, bigleagues.com. This is where we can turn any interview into a series of clips. Professional video on your website closes more sales by instantly building trust, clearly explaining complex products and keeping visitors engaged longer, reducing bounce rate by 34%. It'll help you to gain that credibility, increase engagement, simplify complex tasks, lower your sales friction, and boost your rankings on the search engine. So this is all kind of a no-brainer. See how we've now had over 500 interviews and now almost 250 different business owners. Go to bigleagues.com. That's bigleagues.com. Go to bigleagues.com and get signed up. You can schedule right from there. So there you have it, everybody. We talk about how technology impacts our little planet. Pick up our book here. Steve Kidd and Willie J. You've seen Willie J on the show. We had Steve on here too. But magnetize media. Why do you need to do that? So you get your name out there. That's why people come to us, because they need to get their name out there. But I helped write the introduction to the show, to this book here, and they said, Carter, essentially you wrote the first chapter. But that is a #1 seller. Look at that right there on Amazon. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about how to magnetize your media, pick up that book. But with that, what's what we talk about? Why are you here? Because you realize there's some, the word needs to get out, right? And we all have our own resources now, and we can help each other, but we've got to get the word out. And so you do that with, #1, social media, and videos really help people to become informed, because they'll watch a video long before they'll call somebody. But with that, Jason, how has technology changed? You guys kind of have a technology-based product. You're using some technology to implement the wheels technology, the hammers technology, but this is some oil. You say, hey, let's revitalize these roofs so that they don't have to be replaced. But tell me first off, let me go back to how has technology changed the word, like social media, websites, all those things. That's how people get a hold of you too, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm learning now. The younger generation is, Facebook and all that. The older generation, and that it's like this. They see it on the TV. Because a lot of younger generations not watching the other channels, just streaming. So that's where we come up, with you guys to get our name out there for the local area.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's so much that can be impacted, but you can target very specifically too. You get your demographics, and what age group and what part of the country, and a lot of times it'll disseminate some information about what their income is, or where they fit in the socioeconomic. But that's good information. That's the way you can help learn who to get your product in front of, because you guys are helping anybody that's a homeowner. If they've had a roof that's over, it's got to be over 2 or 3 years old, or where do you start?
We recommend anything over 6 years old.
Okay.
Because saying earlier, there's 3 phases to a shingle.
Yeah.
0 to 6 is your brand new. You got all your oils, looks brand new. But over time, that 6 years to about, I'd say 15, slowly start losing those granules. You'll see the streaks on the roof. 15 to 30, like I said, the oldest roof we've sprayed, I think it was 23 years old, looked good. Granules are still on it, slowly coming off. You can tell in the gutter. So we sprayed it, and they were very happy.
There you go. Okay. But yeah, so start on that. But 5 to 6 years, 6 years, saying 6 years, that's when these things start to kick in. You'll want to make sure and get this taken care of, because you don't want it to get much worse, because if it gets to where they've dried out and they start cracking, then you're going to have to replace the roof. And
Correct.
That's great.
And there's another thing is, like your asphalt on your driveways. Over time, you start losing color, your cracks, and it's the same way. You spray it on your roof, you can prolong it. So that's what with the asphalt driveways, you got to do that too to make it look better.
Makes sense, yes. These are the things you want to make sure you're not cutting corners to get the. What's the biggest mistake you see that other companies make, though? And I guess because there's not a lot of people in your space, you guys have kind of become the experts for this product. But is it the roofing companies? They kind of want to always sell a roof, right?
That's the thing. There's nothing against roofers or anything, but if you can prolong a roof, that's where we go up. And when I meet with the homeowner, when I go up and the roofing, we can, it qualifies, we'll show them what needs to be done. But like you said, a lot of the roofers, they just want to replace it. But a lot of people can't afford a new roof.
They may not necessarily need it. And a lot of the roofing guys may not even be familiar with this, right? So it's
No, I don't think,
relatively
no.
new product. Okay, yeah. So then, hey, they want to sell the roof because they don't know there's an alternative, but there could be a good fit for you as a homeowner, because, hey, if you've got granule, again, if it's hail and all kinds of damage to the roof, that's one thing. But when it's granule loss and it's just the oils have been evaporating, dissipating, what making up words here, but evaporating, then you've got to get those replaced, and you guys that's kind of the intermediary, so they're not having to buy a new roof.
Yeah, that's correct.
And it makes it a lot easier for people. All right. Well, tell me the process. Walk me through it. Somebody goes to the website. I'm going to put up on the wall here. Here is there's your Facebook page, and then we have your here is your guys' page. But go to the RoofMaxx.com and then find a roofer. But go to find a dealer, not a roofer. But you're not going to get a roofer here. But the leading replacement alternative in the Belleville, St. Louis area, and you can see where your emphasis there. But they can go here and then they can say, get a free estimate. Click this button, and then go through the process here. Is that pretty easy? Fill out the form?
It's pretty simple. All it's asking if you own your own home, if you have asphalt, how old your roof is, and then your general information. And when that estimate's created, it comes to me, and then we'll contact you, pretty quickly. So, because a lot of people, if I wait, people just forget about it. So
Yeah.
when we contact you, it'll be within minutes. So you're thinking about it, and we'll schedule an appointment, because how we do that, we got to make sure the roof qualifies. I can't tell you a price really, or if your roof qualifies by not looking at it. And
Right.
I don't like doing the Google Earth or anything like that. I can do that measurement wise, but I want to get on the roof to make sure that your shingles, have the flexibility, and if there's any tune up what needs to be done on your roof.
Yes, there's a process there, but you will. So as soon as they fill out that form, you're going to get a quick alert. You're going to respond to them, and then you say, "Hey, when can I come out?"
Yes.
That's really the process, and then
That's
schedule that out there, and you'll be honest with them straight up. Hey, yes, this definitely could be fixed, or no, you need a roof replacement.
That is correct.
Okay, good to see the process that you have obviously nailed down there to make sure that people do get taken care of properly, and make sure they get what they need. So, what's the biggest objection? What's the biggest question that people have for you? A lot of times, people will be, "Oh, do I really need? Does it really work?" What do you hear from people?
What I hear from people, I think they just see the commercial, what we run nationally, maybe once, and they're like, they think it's magic juice, so they think it's going to fix everything. That, and maybe, oh, I didn't expect, what the cost is at that point, because, they think it's cheap, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not super cheap, but
It's not super cheap, but I'm going to save you 80% of, the $15,000 to $35,000 roof.
Yeah, so there's a lot there to be saved, but you want to make sure it's a good fit, and you obviously will do the analysis to make sure that they are a good candidate for what you're offering, which is good. And that's part of that process, and the questions that people have here. Well, when it boils down to it, what ultimately gives you the most satisfaction for what you get to do here?
Just helping people save money. That's when I meet with people, that's their number one thing, where they see we can save 90% of a new roof. So
Yeah, when you're that's a big savings. Everybody, get out your calculator. But if you got 10% or 20%, somebody was at the table last night. Well, Carter's really good at math. We were calculating. We went to a really nice restaurant. I don't normally, but my buddy's 40th birthday, so we did that. And it was, let's say, $75 bill. Well, what's the tip for 75? Well, 10% would be $7.50. So multiply that times 2 would be a $15 tip. Similar process here for you, right? If they've got a
Correct.
$15,000 roof, you're looking at $3,000, and they'll have this whole process that could be afforded for them.
correct.
Okay, that's what we'd like to see. Something make it easy, get straight to the point, and help make a difference in our little community. And I guess you feel most of it, you're really helping the community here, because you're helping people to not spend a lot of money they don't need to.
Right, because when with the roofer, they come down and sit with the individual. They're like, all right, I need a new roof, and then that 15 to 25, 30,000 comes up, and they're like, well, I can't afford that. And if we can help prolong it, that's where we come in.
Yeah, and the guarantees and everything you provide to go along with that, 5 years. Obviously that's a third of the life of a roof anyway. Stay tuned, everybody. You're watching Your Little Castle Show.